Round one of the 2024 NFL draft is in the books. We have really all the results right here, all from Caleb Williams down to the last pick of the first round with Xavier Legette going to the Carolina Panthers. But before round two starts in just a few hours, I want to do some winners and losers regarding the first round, talk about some of the teams that I really thought had a good opening draft, and then some other teams I was like, what are you guys doing? I did stream the entire first round last night, around a 4-hour live stream, my first on the channel. If you did make your way out there, even just for a little bit, I really do appreciate it. The first one I want to talk about is Michael Penix Jr. going to the Atlanta Falcons. This was definitely the most surprising pick of the first round. Really, one of the more surprising picks in the last several years, I feel like, in the entire NFL. I'm personally a little bit higher on Penix compared to other people who don't even have like a first round grade on him. I like what he did at Washington. I think he has a fairly high upside. I think he can become a fairly good quarterback at the next level. But with the injury concerns, with him being around 24 years old heading into next season as a rookie, I didn't think he should have gone in the top 10, especially to the Falcons, who already have a quarterback in Kirk Cousins, paid him over $100 million on a 4-year deal this past offseason. Really, like a month ago, they gave him that contract, and now they spend a top 10 pick on a quarterback who's probably not going to play for 2 years. My thought process was, if you were going to take a quarterback, why not JJ McCarthy, who is 21 years old, a lot younger, and many people see has a higher upside than Penix just in terms of his physical attributes. McCarthy can move around, he can play off script a little bit better, he doesn't have the injury concerns. Why not take him and have him sit behind Cousins for 2 years, and he'll still be only like 23 years old by the time he can start. But I guess the Falcons just really like Penix. That was kind of the report, that Raheem Morris just really liked Penix. But the Falcons are going to be one of my losers. I know it's popular to say right now, everybody's kind of dogging on the Falcons, but it just does not make a whole lot of sense. Maybe if they traded back into the first round, maybe towards like the 15-16 range, and then got Penix, I would understand it a little bit more. But spending a top 10 pick on him when you really needed an edge rusher or somebody to help you win now, because the Falcons, they are trying to win now. They spent a lot of money in free agency. They brought in a whole new coaching staff, a veteran quarterback. They're trying to win the NFC South this year. They're trying to win a playoff game. They're trying to compete for an NFC championship. I don't get the rationale of taking an older quarterback and not going to be playing him for 2 years. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I think Rome Odunze to the Bears is really fascinating, and the Bears are going to be one of my winners just because of how they've been able to surround Caleb Williams this offseason. Trading for Keenan Allen, signing DeAndre Swift, and now getting Rome Odunze with their second first-round pick. They have one of the best weaponries in the entire league. DJ Moore on one side of the field, Rome Odunze on the other side of the field, Keenan Allen in the slot, Cole Kmet at tight end, DeAndre Swift in the backfield, a good pair of tackles. They have done an amazing job building an infrastructure for Caleb Williams to come in right away and succeed. I don't think it's a stretch to say that they could have one of the best offenses in the league next season if Caleb Williams is as good as we expect him to be right away. Everybody knew the Vikings were connected to JJ McCarthy throughout the draft process, but many people believe they were gonna have to trade up into the top 5 to be able to get him, maybe trade 2 first-round picks to do so, but they ended up only having to move up 1 spot with the New York Jets, really only giving them, I think it was a 3rd-round pick, and they still got their guy, not having to give up their 23rd selection. I really like this move for the Vikings, just sticking and picking and getting their quarterback of the future in JJ McCarthy. And the Jets, I know this wasn't super popular, but I actually like this selection for them as well. They picked up some more draft capital, moving back 1 spot with the Vikings. And again, this was seen as a pretty popular pick for them to take Brock Bowers, or maybe even one of the other wide receivers that fell, which, you know, they didn't, but Brock Bowers was seen as a slam dunk type of pick here. But I did not think that was a smart pick for the team going into next season and even into the future. You have 2 older tackles in Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses, both who have dealt with a lot of injuries the past couple of years. Morgan Moses has been relatively healthy, but he missed multiple games last year with the Ravens. And Tyron Smith, I think he hasn't played like a full season since like 2016. I mean, it's been a long time. And the book on Olu is he's a great pass protector, has great strength, a great anchor. He has some work to do in the run game. He's not super athletic, getting up to the next level and finding other people to block. And because of his movement and his size, I don't know if he's going to be able to play guard. So he might be starting the season on the bench for the Jets, which I don't love. But it is pretty inevitable that Tyron Smith or Morgan Moses are going to be banged up at some point in the season. So instead of having a revolving door there blocking for your 40-year-old quarterback off an Achilles injury, now they have Olu Fashanu, who I do think is a really nice pass protector. I do like this pick for the Jets. Quickly, Bo Nix to Denver. I had this mock throughout the entire draft process. Wasn't surprised by this, but I do not love the idea of taking Bo Nix at number 12 overall, especially being the 6th quarterback off the board. Definitely would have preferred them trading back and then collecting some more assets and then taking Bo Nix. maybe they were worried a team like the Raiders or maybe the Seahawks or some other mystery team would have traded up to get him. So if that's the case, I guess I do understand it, but I do not like the value of taking the 6th quarterback off the board with the 12th overall pick in the draft. I thought the Vikings had a really good draft. I really liked them trading up for Dallas Turner, who was seen as maybe the best edge rusher in this entire draft. He's a little bit raw in terms of his pass rush moves. He does not have a deep bag, but in terms of his ceiling with his athleticism and his size, I think he has a chance to be a really good player, especially in Brian Flores' defense. Flores loves to bring all-out blitzes, utilizes defensive linemen in unique ways to get pressure on the quarterback, and Turner has the athleticism and the capabilities to be some chess piece on the defensive line. I think he's going to be a really nice fit in Minnesota. The price was a little steep. They traded a 3rd and 4th next season along with a 5th, so they did get rid of a lot of their capital next year, so the cupboard is a little bit bare, but I'm sure they had Dallas Turner maybe rated as a top 10 prospect, so the fact that they were able to move up and get him at number 17, I think was a fairly good trade up. And it reminds me of what the Texans did last year, not to the same extent. I don't think JJ is the same talent level as CJ Stroud. I don't think Dallas Turner is as good as Will Anderson, but it's a similar thing where they get a quarterback, edge rusher, 2 guys that have high character, and they're going to be the cornerstone pieces of the future of both of these units. The Miami Dolphins took Chop Robinson at number 21 overall, and I was not a huge fan of this pick because I feel like it's kind of a reach for a boomer bust player. The earliest I was seeing Chop going in the 1st round was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with pick number 26. He was not seen as a lock to go in the 1st round, so I don't think the Dolphins at 21 got super good value with this. Very raw player, but he's got great get-off speed. He has fantastic athleticism. Actually graded out as one of the most athletic edges in recent years, but he only had 10 sacks in his career in college, and he's going to need some development. He's got to get stronger. He has to be able to win with power as well. I know Nick Saban was talking about it. He's really a one-trick pony right now, just has been in speed off the edge. He's got to develop some upper body strength, and he has to figure out some pass rush moves because right now he is a one-dimensional player. So I don't love the value at number 21. He does have a high ceiling if the Dolphins can develop him. We'll see if they can do it. One of my favorite picks in the 1st round was the Philadelphia Eagles getting Quinyon Mitchell at number 22 overall. The rumors heading into the draft was that the Eagles and Howie Roseman were going to trade up in the 1st round, probably to secure the top cornerback in the draft. But with how the board shook out, the Eagles decided to not trade up, and they still got who, in my opinion, is the top cornerback in Quinyon Mitchell. The Eagles secondary last year was an abomination. They signed CJ Gardner-Johnson. They brought in Quinyon Mitchell. Vic Fangio now running the scheme. I feel like Quinyon Mitchell fits really nicely in their defense. At Toledo, they ran a very zone-heavy scheme. Mitchell was oftentimes far off the wide receiver 8 to 10 yards. And that's why some people didn't like him, because he didn't have a ton of experience in man or press. So some people were worried how he was going to translate at the next level if he did have to be in those situations. But he's going to fit really nicely in the Eagles defensive scheme. He's a great athlete. I think the Eagles hit a home run getting Quinyon Mitchell at number 22. Similar thing to the Eagles, I thought the Lions trading up and getting Terrion Arnold was a really nice move. I had the Lions taking a corner in almost every single mock draft I did, but I did not think Terrion Arnold would be lasting this far into the draft. So the fact they only had to trade a 3rd round pick to move up and get who I saw as the 2nd best corner in this class is a home run pick for me. I think Brad Holmes identified his guy when he got into range, pounced on him, and he's now bringing home Terrion Arnold to be the future cornerback 1 of the Detroit Lions. A pick I wasn't a huge fan of was Ricky Pearsall going in the 1st round to the San Francisco 49ers. It does seem like that Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel is going to be traded now, so Pearsall is likely going to be the replacement, but he was not seen as a 1st round player. I did not see him in one 1st round mock draft. With other players on the board like Jerzon Newton, Cooper DeJean, or maybe even Jackson Powers Johnson, who I think could have an immediate impact on the 49ers and fill a need also on the team. I think one of those would have been the better pick here, and then maybe getting a wide receiver in the 2nd round. If you do trade away Deebo or Ayuk, maybe you use that pick on a wide receiver if it is a 2nd rounder, or if it's a 3rd, you can package your 2nd and that 3rd to move up and get one of your guys you like still. So I didn't love the value of getting Pearsall here. I am going to trust Kyle Shanahan, though, because he does know offense. He does know his skill position players. Knowing the 49ers and knowing Shanahan, he probably does work out, but I just do not like the value here. I think they could have gone a different route and then gotten a wide receiver if they wanted to trade up in the 2nd round. And the last thing I want to talk about is Xavier Worthy going to the Chiefs. I have a winner and loser for this one. I'm sure you already know what it is. The Kansas City Chiefs are a huge winner. They traded up 4 spots didn't have to give up a pick. It was only pick swaps with the Bills. I think the Chiefs moved from the 3rd to the 4th and then swapped like 5ths with the Bills to make this trade happen. And they get the fastest wide receiver in NFL Combine history, a 4.21 40-yard dash. I don't think Worthy would have fit with every single offense or every single team. He's a little bit unique as a weapon. He has to get free releases. You have to put him in motion and get him space down the field. But we've seen it with the Kansas City Chiefs. They know exactly how to do that. So the Bills basically hand wrapped the next iteration of Tyreek Hill for the Chiefs, just a smaller, super fast, explosive wide receiver, to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes to use. And the Bills, it's like, what are you guys doing? The Chiefs have been your rival for years now. They've knocked you out of the playoffs time and time again. And you're going to trade back, not really get anything of substance, and give them an explosive weapon. I just don't get what the Bills are doing. Even if the Chiefs are probably going to get him at 32 anyway, why do you want to have that on your resume that you were the team that traded back with your rival and gave them that player? It just doesn't make sense to me. So the Chiefs, a massive winner. The Buffalo Bills, no clue what they're doing. They also traded out of the 32 pick, let the Panthers get Xavier Legette. I think they picked up like a 5th rounder to move back one spot. It does seem like the Bills are probably going to take AD Mitchell or maybe Ladd McConkey with the 33rd pick, which maybe that was their target all along. They get some pick swaps. They get an extra late round pick. I guess it's okay in theory if you do get the guy you always wanted. You just get, a few more assets to help you later in the draft. But I just cannot fathom that you gave the Chiefs their next super explosive weapon. It just does not make any sense to me whatsoever. But those were just some of the biggest moves that caught my eye in the first round of the NFL draft. Let me know in the comment section down below, who do you think won night number 1 and who do you think needs to have a big day 2 to really save their draft? But subscribe to the channel if you are new, drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.